Right. So the class is live, and let's see. This is the Excel one to use actually, but I think it's taking us an eternity to open. I might close it and try and open it again. So let me open it again for the second time. Yeah. So I come over here and I open. I hope it's going to open now. Okay, I think it's better now. Okay, go ahead. So as I was saying, so today we are going to look at a lot of things that we're going to look at today. If you are just joining us, right? You've not missed anything. All you need to do is just leave a line. You've not missed anything. So, but I can tell you that we've covered a lot. We actually started from the beginning, right? We started from the beginning. We tore the interface. We did a lot of things. But today we want to look at something that is very, very important. We did a classwork at the beginning. We look at all these functions and all of that. But today we want to learn something important, right? So what we're going to learn today is printing preparation. We're going to call it printing preparation. So let me just go to our sheet that we normally use so that you can have all the notes that you actually need. So today we're going to look at printing preparation. I'll just copy this. Okay, yeah. I bring it down over here and I say Control V. Yeah, so this is going to be printing preparation. Oh. So here are the printing preparation. Okay. So the first thing you want to do, if you want to print, right? So let's just maintain inside where we are. Today, this is day 15th of our lecture. So if you want to print, right, always go to your page layout. So when you go to your page layout, you are going to see, let's go to page layout. So if you click on page layout like this, right? When you click on page layout, then you can also check for size. There's this thing that says size. Click on the size. Then when you click on the size, you can see, okay, there's letter, there is a tabloid, there is legal, there is whatever. Just check. Anyway, so once you just leave it at letter, it's still fine at that letter. Okay, so we want to leave it at letter. But let's go to the bottom. If you check the bottom here, I don't know if you can see the bottom of my screen. You will see that we have this page layout is also down over here. So we have page layout at the bottom here. So this is what we call the print preview. So I click on the one at the middle. I click on the one at the middle like this, and you can see now. So this is the print preview, right? So this is how the print preview actually looks like. Now you can see that this thing is not actually looking well. It's not looking well. So this is the print preview and all that, and it's not actually looking fine. Okay. So this is how the print preview actually looks like. So now you can see that so you can see that at this bottom we have seen the print preview. Then we can come back to normal view if you like. We can come back to normal view if we actually like. So when you click on normal view, you'll see that we are back in the normal view. So automatically you are seeing that there are some all these lines that are showing to tell us that okay, this is how this thing will actually be printed, right? This is going to be printed, and which doesn't make sense because it's going to cut a lot of our information away. It's going to cut a lot of our information away. So let's now look at some few notes that we need to jot down in case of incasity, so that you can also use it later. So the first thing we want to do is that the first thing we did is that we want to like making the pieces fit. That's what we're looking at. Okay, we want to make the piece, want to make it fit. So number one, want to look at making the pieces fit. Making the pieces fit. Okay. So the first thing we did is that we went to the top, we went to the page layout. So we went to the page the page layout, went to the page layout tab, or went to the page layout tab like this. Then we clicked on size. So we click on, so let's go back to the, I think we are in the normal view, right? We're in the normal view. Okay, so another thing you want to do is that all these lines that you are seeing, you can also eradicate the line if you want to. All the lines you are seeing, you can eradicate the lines if you want to. I will tell you how to eradicate the lines. If you want to eradicate the line, right? Just go back to your page layout. If you go to your page layout, then you will see where we have what we call sheet options. You can see where we have sheet option, but yeah, this thing is not showing. So we need to like eradicate this. When you click on sheet options, you will see where it's showing lines. If you click on it, so but it's not actually showing. So I think we need to like do something. Let's go to the backstage view. On the backstage view, let's go to print. From the print option, okay, you can see that exactly the way this thing was showing. I don't know if you can see my screen or I can't see your screen, sir. Is it everyone? If you can see my screen, let me see a thumbs up. If you can see my screen, you can see my screen. Let me see your thumbs up. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so that's that. So we've gone to, let's go back to our sheet. So this is how it was showing, and it's not actually showing properly. So the next thing I want to do is I want to click on escape again. When you click on escape, you go back to where you were before we started the whole process. So this is where we were, right? So I told us that okay, so when we came back now, you can see that all the lines I was showing is no longer showing, right? So what we did the first time was that we went to our page layout. When we go to our page layout, then we first of all check the size of whatever we are using. So automatically, I think is printing as a letter, okay, which is fine. Letter is what is selected, which is fine. So we can leave it as letter, and then we click out of there. Then the next thing I said we should do is we should go to these previews at the bottom. We chose the left one, the middle one, sorry. When we chose the middle one, it showed us how it is actually going to print, right? So some of them are looking good, while some are not actually looking good, right? So some are not actually looking good. So the next thing I want to do is I want to now select a print area. I want to select a print area. Okay, so before we can do that, let's go back to the normal view. So this right here is a normal view. This one to the far right is a page break preview. So let's click on page break preview. Let's look at how it's going to look like. Okay, so page break preview. So these are most auditors. This is how they leave their file if they want to print out their file. This is how they normally leave their files. Okay, so they leave it at the page break preview. But let's go back to the normal view, right? If you go back to the normal view, we want to, in order for us to eradicate this line, if we always come back to our page layout, right, and then you come to this sheet option. This, can you see sheet option? You will see that under the shift option, we have grid lines. The grid lines, we have one that is saying view. The other one, we see that there's one that is under it, say that, okay, if you want to print the grid lines, you can print it, but if you want to also view it, you are viewing it. So let's decide to take it off. We can take it off. Once you click away from it, and you are not supposed to see it again. Once you click off of it, you're not supposed to see it again. Let me also click off of this one. Okay, heading again. Okay, grid lines. So these, you're not supposed to see it again once you do all these things. I don't know why it's still showing, but that is how it's supposed to be. So once we've done that, let's now click on Ctrl F. Let's Ctrl C, sorry. Ctrl X to save. Okay, I think this our sheet is not saved. So let's go and check. It's like let's save it as something first. In order to be sure of what we're doing, let's just save it like this. I want to save it on the desktop like that. Okay, so I want to save. So that is fine. So the first thing we have done is that we've seen how to get the size of the paper we are to use. We've also seen how to get the print preview. If you want to get the print preview, you can actually go to the bottom of your screen, to the far right of your screen. You will see close to where we have our Zoom assemblies, right? You will see some things that look like four corner. The one at the middle is a print preview, while the one that looks to the left is our normal view. And at default, we are always in normal view. So this is our normal view, right? We are in normal view at default. But if you want to check the print preview, you can come to the one at the middle, and then you're going to see this one at the middle, right? Then, if you want to see the way auditors print out their document, click on the one that is to the far right. When you click on it, then you're going to see something like this. We can actually set our print where we want it to print from. We can actually set it, and that is what we want to go and do now. Let's go back to normal view. Then let's try and click on Ctrl P. When you click on Ctrl P, as if you want to print, okay. So when you now go back to Escape, the lines are supposed to be to disappear, but the line is still there. So then something is wrong. So let's go back to our page layout, and let's come back to our, for this grid line, now let's select it. This is supposed to actually eradicate all those print, all those lines and all that, but it's still showing. It's still showing, so no problem. So the next thing we want to do now is that we want to now set the print area. So let's decide that, let's say we want to set the print area. Let's go to the top. Okay, at the top here, let's go and select from, let's say we want to select from 28. So this is our row 28, right? Or no, let's select below it. Let's say we want to select from row 30, right? So we select all row 30 like this. When we select all row 30 like this to this place, we want to select it to the top. Row 30 to the top. Oh, sorry. Let me do it again. So row 30 from here. From here, we want to select like this, and we want to go up like this. That's why they. Okay. So I think this is what is showing us. Okay. So once you have that, once you have selected all the areas that you want to print, right? So you now go to the top, still under your page layout, right? So beside this, your size, you will see where it's saying print area. Select that print area. Then here you're going to see select print area. So click on select print area. Automatically, it has selected the print area. So it's still showing us that if you still come back to the page layout, it's still going to be showing us that the page break and everything. But if you go to your file as though you want to print, let's go to our Ctrl P, or where is that place that we can print again? So this is where we can print. Voila. So you can see what is showing, but this side is still cutting off. This side is still cutting off. So let's go back to, let's press our escape again and go back to this side. But automatically, you can see that all the lines that were showing under has been cut off now. So it means that this thing is not properly aligned. This thing, we can decide to like on, let's say want to on, or another thing we can do is this. Let's do something again. Let's do something again. So let's now come over here. Let's do something like this. So let's click on, let me come like this. Let me click on somewhere. Okay, let's click on this side. Let's say we click on this side. Then we want to select, we come back to our page layout again. Then this time around, let's click on break. Okay, so insert page break. Let's see whether it will work. Okay, so we have inserted a page break now. So page break is now after this line. So hello, unmute your mic. Can you see that page break has been inserted? Now we now have a page break after the line. So that is how you can achieve those things. Let's now go back to our print. Let's go to Ctrl P. Let's check what is going to happen under Ctrl P. Ctrl P. Oh, sorry. Ctrl P. right, under Control P, it's still showing that. Okay, so now it's now making it like 2 pages. So we have it as 2 pages. Okay. So another thing I want to do is that now it's not showing like this is showing like is it like we have landscape, and what other format do we normally have?
Portrait.
Yeah, so it's showing as landscape, and the other one is actually showing as portrait. So the first thing we want to do is we want to now change it from well, let's change it to landscape. Let's see what happens. So let's click on escape, right? We now come to this our page layout again. Under page layout, let's go to orientation. So from our orientation, you can see that is in portrait. You can click on landscape here. So once you click on landscape, then we're going to go back to our print, our displays. Let's go back here. Let's go to print. You go to print, then let's see. Okay, you can see how it's showing now. So it's not showing properly. Unlike the way it was behaving before, that it was moving about, now it has now shown properly. So let's go back again. So let's jot down some things, because most of these things that I said will come in handy when you are trying to do it on yourself. You can see that before, our page break was showing somewhere in the middle. I don't know if you understand. Did you notice that the page break was showing at the middle of this thing like this before? Who observed it? Did anybody observe that our page break was showing at the middle of that file before? I need you to respond.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's now go back and do what we did. The first thing we did is that I said the first thing. So let's go and jot some things down so that will guide us to know how to actually, because Excel is actually a very complex stuff, especially when it comes to trying to print, right? So the first thing we did is that we went to our page layout, the page layout tab. From the page layout tab, we now went straight to the size. You see a place where they call size. So from the size, okay, from the size, let me go and click on it. So this is our page page layout, right? So from our page layout, we went to size. That was what we did before. So let's do something. Let's click away from here. I'm coming. Okay, I'm clicking here. So right. So before we went to our page layout, from our page layout, we went to our size. We want to be sure that it is letter that was selected. So any of these things can be selected. Okay, you can see A3, A4, whatever. But here we are selecting just letter. Then we click off from it. Then the next thing I also told us is that we can now go to the bottom of our screen, right? You can see the print preview. So you can see the one at the far left. This is the normal view that we are at default. We are always at normal view. But if you come to the one at the middle, this is what we call the print preview. So the print preview, we always show you where the page break is. Because I set the page break, you can see that now the page break is actually not in between this our heading again. It's no longer between our heading. So it has been adjusted to the right. And why is this so? Because I use these things that are up here to adjust it. So our page break has been adjusted, and now you can see the way our page break is. It's no longer on this, it's no longer cutting across this thing again. And that also told us that you can also check the one that is at the far right. The one at the far right is what auditors use when they want to print out your document. So you look at the way it is. I've selected it. Okay, this is how it is. Right, but it's not actually showing the way we want it to look. But let me see. Let me go to the right. Let me see. Okay, maybe because I changed the is it because I changed the layer of it? Maybe that's why it's showing like this. But before, we're able to see it clearly. So let's do something. Let's go back to the normal view. Then after we go to the normal view, let's now try and jot some things down. So the next thing I also did is that I also said that, okay, I want to now select an area I want to print. So if I want to print now, let me go to the top now. Let's say that I want to print. So this is the first thing that we have at the top. I want to say that, okay, the first page I want to print from the first row. I want to print to the 20th. No, let me not do that. Let me say I want to print to, okay, this is where I was one that selected this 30th. I don't know if you remember that I did that. So I was the one that selected to 30th. So if I said I want to print to, let's say 34, all I'll do is I'll just select the area I want to print to. I come to this place, 34. I select the area I want to print to, right? So once I select that area, I come back to my page layout, right? Now, beside this size, you will see print area. You click on it. The first thing you can do is that you can first of all clear print area. That's the first thing you can do. First of all, clear the print area that we selected before. Clear it. Once you clear it, okay, you can see that it has disappeared. Now on its own, it's showing us that before we selected 30th, now on its own is showing that the normal print area is 34. So let's now say we don't want 34, right? Let's assume we want to select maybe 30. What should I select now? Maybe 28? No, or 27. Okay, let's assume we want to select 27. We select the 27, right? So we select 27. We come back to our page layout. Then we under the size, beside the size, you will see what we call print area. You select the print area, then you now come and put set print area. Just click on set print area. And once you set print area, if you come back to this your print preview, you will still be seeing something else, but we've changed it. You can see that here we've changed it to 27, and 27 is selected here, but this one is still selecting the normal to 34, which is not actually the actual thing that will print out for you. So what are we going to do? Let's go back to our normal view. If you come to your normal view, right, then go to your Control P as if you want to print. Then is that your Control P now that you now see the actual thing that you need to see? Okay, what's going on? Okay, let's go back. Let's click on escape. So I think what he did is that he just selected only this. Oh, sorry, I was the one that made the mistake. Sorry. So let's go back to our page layout and let's go back to our print area. So what we want to do is I want to clear the print area. We clear the print area and everything is fine. But we are saying we want to print to 27, Abby. So what we do is that we select 27. Once we select 27 to where we want to get to, then the next thing is that we want to now select it upward to the first row. We want to select it upward to the first row. So we select it upward to the first row. Once we do that, then we now come to this our page layout. Then we now want to set the print area. We have clicked on the set print area. So if you come back to your preview, you're still going to be seeing the normal 34 that it has been selected before. The number, see, is it showing the number 34? It shows that this print preview at times may not actually show you the actual thing that will print out. But the area that you select, that you set, is what we actually print out when you go to your Control P. So let's go back to our normal view. Okay, from our normal view, we want to now go and press Control P, or we go to our File tab. So you can see this is where we selected to, and that is what we actually have. Okay, this is what we selected to, and that is what we actually have. Are we together? Are we together? Are we together?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, the next thing I want to show us is that apart from you selecting the print area, the next thing you want to do is I will also check how to change it from either landscape or portrait. To change from landscape or portrait, come to your page layout again. Then you see orientation. From orientation, you can see that it's now in landscape. If you want it to be portrait, you can go and click on portrait. Whatever suits you is what you should click on. Then there's another thing that we also want to do. Another thing we want to do is that in case this stuff is not well arranged or is not well aligned. Let's click on Ctrl P again. You click on Ctrl P, you discover that this one is actually looking like as if it's well arranged. It's like it's in the center. But let's assume it's not in the center, and then we want to like arrange it to be in the center. How can we actually do that? Okay, how can we do that? So let's go back to let's press escape. When we go to escape, we come back to this our page layout, right? When you come back to your page layout, the next thing you want to do is you now go to margin. So you come to your margins. This is your margins, right? Come to your margins. Then you can see the normal. You can see the wide. You can see narrow. Come to the custom margin. If you click on custom margin, this comes out. So now you can see the way the paper is inside this box. Okay, so what we want to do is I want to now click on center on page. We want to tick the horizontally, right? We also want to tick the vertically. So you can see that now is now in the middle of the box. Then we can click on OK. Once we click on OK, we now come to our Ctrl P again, Ctrl P, and this time around, you can see that it has actually changed. Is now in the middle properly. So it's not in the middle properly. So those things I said, we might not get them if I don't type them out for you to see. Okay. So let's quickly work on that. Okay, let's work on that before we now do some other things. All right, let's quickly work on that. Let me quickly type that out for you. So you just follow through as I'm typing. So the first thing we did, we've learned how to set page break. So the first thing I said, when you go to your page layout, you want to decide what paper size are you actually using, right? What paper size is selected. So to determine the paper size that is selected, you go to size. Under size, make sure that make sure that letter is what is selected. So once letter is selected, you are good. Well, just give it to me. Something is wrong. Yeah, I want to check. Okay, so yeah. So yeah. Okay. So now from page layout, right? And I'll say click on the size. Can we call it tab? It's not a tab, but I think click on the size tab. Okay, so because I'm typing, so click on this. So this is size, right? So click on the size, then the size tab, okay, to select the paper type. The paper type. So print on either letter or A4 or A3, but by default, letter is preferred. So letter is preferred. That's the first thing we worked on. Then the next thing I also talked about is that to check your print preview, to view to accept print preview, right? Go to the bottom right of your screen beside the Zoom assembly, Assembly. How do we spell that? Assembly. Okay, assembly. Okay. So you will see the three box at the bottom. Okay, full stop or comma, full stop. The middle one is the print preview, while the one to the left is the normal view. The one to the right is the view mostly used by auditors. Okay, so that is that. Then the next thing I want to also talk about is to set what did I say? To set, what is that? To set the print area now. So let's quickly check. That is another subheading. Okay. To set the print area. So to set the print area, select. Let's just say select all the area you want printed as the first page, comma, go to your page layout, tab at the top beside the size button. You will see, what are you going to see? Let's go and check again. So beside the size button, you will see what we call print area. So that's what you're going to see. You will see print area button, comma, click on it to set the print area, full stop. So on select the print area, go back to the same button and click clear print area. Okay, so I think that is fine. So we've been able to look at that to be able to clear print area. So another thing we want to also talk about is if you want to print and then you discover that your printing is not showing how you want it to show, okay, then we need to now check for either I want to make it a landscape or portrait. Okay, so let's now come over here. Oh. So to make your view landscape or portrait, okay. I hope we are still on the call. Okay, fine. So to make your view landscape or portrait, still go back to your page layout and then you see orientation. So is it orientation? Yes. So to make your view landscape or portrait, so go to the uh page layout tab, then see orientation, and from there you can either make your view landscape or portrait. So that is for that. So then the another thing we also looked at in the class, we also look at how to make whatever I want to print out to be centrally aligned, all right? To be centrally aligned. So when we now come to another heading, we come to another heading now. So all this, I'm going to color all this one so that you know that all these are headings. So I'm going to resend this sheet to all so that we can also use it to practice. So let me also color this one also. Yeah, so the next thing now. So to make what you want to print, to make it centered horizontally or vertically. So just still go back to your page layout, right? When you go back to your page layout, you will see margin. When you click on margin, that is where you can actually do that. So to do that, so go to the page layout. Go to the page layout, then select or click on margin, right? So once you click on margin, then you see where it says, let's go and check it. So we click on, let me click off from here. So we click on page layout, click on margin, then you now go to where it say custom margin. So that's what I'm going to say. So you see where it say custom margin. So we see where it say custom margin. Custom margin. So you click on that, right? So you see where it say custom margin, you click on that, which is this. You click on custom margin. Then from there, you will now see that this is it page that is selected. Okay, margin is selected. So at the bottom here, where you have your center on page, you will have to check the box horizontally and vertically. Then you click on OK. So you have to do that for that. So it's where it says custom margin, comma. So where it says custom margin, then comma, then click on it, then check the, so click on it, okay. Then you see, so when you come over here, you see, you come to custom margin, then here you see where it say center on page. So that's what I want to say. So you see center on page, you see center on page, then you pick the horizontally and vertically box. Then click OK. Okay, I think that is that. So we're going to make this one wrap now. Let it wrap around, let it wrap and center. Okay, let's it wrap like this. You come over here, click on home, merge and center. You click here to the top. You click here to the side, then we wrap it. Okay, so that's that. So now I hope I am not I hope I'm not too fast. I hope we are following. Are we following? Are we following? Are we following? Are we together? Are we following?
Yes, sir.
All right. So that is that. So I'm just, if I don't take it this way, you will not be able to get it. But we need to learn all these things because to print on Excel is not actually a joke. So once you have been able to do that, then let's now try and let's still try and still go and get what I have said. So that is that. So that is that. So let's try it again, right? So let's try it once more. Once more. Okay, so let's try it once more. So let's go to another sheet where we have some data. So we come over to where we have some data, right? So let's check for some data that we can use. Not there. Not here. Let's go and check for some data that we can actually use. Inventory purchase. Okay, so we have this file now. So I told us that the first thing to do is whenever you have any area you want to print, right? You can see this file. Let's look for another file that is longer. Let's go and look for a file that is very, very, very long. A file that is very, very sample reports. Okay, let's look at something like this, right? I also want to make sure that this thing is not, I don't want to have this thing freeze. I don't want to freeze it. So let's go to our view. I think it's view. Then we want to unfreeze the pane. Unfreeze pane. Okay, fine. So I don't want to freeze. Okay, so that's fine. So now the next, what we want to do is that the first thing I say you should do is first of all go to your page layout. Once you go to your page layout, then come and check the paper size. Right? You can see that automatically here is selecting letter. You can decide to change it to whatever you want. You can put A4 depending on whatever you want to achieve. But I think letter is actually okay. So we click away from there. The next thing we want to do is that we want to now come to the bottom right hand side of the screen. You will see beside your Zoom assembly, we have all these views, right? So we have here, they call it page layout. The right hand side, they call it page break preview. And then the other side, we have normal. So we want to click on the middle. It is the one at the middle, the box at the middle we are clicking on. Once you click on the box at the middle, look at what it's going to show you. It's going to show you how this thing is going to be printed, right? It's going to show you how this thing is going to be printed. So this eye is going to be printed, okay? So this eye is going to be printed and all that. And I think it's cutting away some things from this stuff, which is not supposed to do. So here we have total, and I can see like this is a net amount. So I can see that it's doing that. So let's now go back to the normal view. Let's come back to this normal view and click on normal. So you can see that the normal, so total is here. It has cut away our net amount. So if you want to print this kind of file now, you go to your printer and you press Ctrl P, you are going to see that all your file will not be together. So you can see where it gets to like a total, it has cut away, it even scatter this your file. You see that that last area, hey, look at, so it has scattered all your file. And if you decide to print like this, you will never get the setting because you may not know what you actually need to do to make this thing actually work out. So let's leave this place. Let's click on escape and we come back away from that place. So what you want to do is that number one, we want to select where we want to print to. Let's assume we want to select where we want to print to. Let's assume we want to print from the beginning here, from row 1. Let's say we want to print it to only, we just need to, let's say like row 28 or so. So what you do is that come to where row 28 is, just select row 28, where row 28 is, where you want the data to stop, and then you select it up to the top. Fine. So this is what we want to print, right? So the next thing you want to do is that what we want to do is I want to now select our print area. I want to select the print area. So what you do, you now come to layout, page layout, come to page layout, then beside this your size, you will see print area. So you want to select print area. We have selected the print area. So automatically it has been selected. So if you click off here, okay, and then you come back to your, don't forget what we selected to. We selected to row 28, right? Don't also forget that when we selected row 28, we also selected all the areas we wanted to print to. So we selected row 28 like this, then we selected it to the top because that is where we want to print to. We could also decide that, okay, we want to select from page 28. I want to only print the bottom. Whatever I want to print, you can go and select the print area. Don't forget that. The next thing is that if you come back to this, it's not in normal view. You come back to your print preview, you discover that it may not be giving you what you selected. Look at what it's giving us, which this might not be the actual thing that is going to print for us because we actually selected to 28, but it's still telling us that it's going to print to 64. So let's go back to normal view. Once you come to normal view, then we want to now press Ctrl P to look at what Ctrl P is going to give you. So look at your Ctrl P now. Ctrl P is telling you that it's going to print actually to that 28 that is selected, but the error there now is that because that total, our net whatever is broken away, if you click here, you see that the net amount is broken away, but we don't want it to happen like this, right? So let's try something else. Let's try something. Let's see, this thing is like in portrait. Let's try and change it from portrait to landscape. Let's see what will happen. Let's click on escape. Let's go and change this thing to landscape. So we'll come back to our page layout. Then under our orientation, we're going to see that it's currently in portrait. Let's click on landscape. Okay, so let's go back to our Ctrl P and see what we happen now. Under landscape, show preview. Show now. Okay, so under our landscape now, here, it has actually selected everything because we are using landscape. So at times it can be that it is the way you want it to be that is not working. And that thing is that you can also check this thing. Let's say this thing is not actually sitting well the way we want it to be seated, right? Let's say this thing is not centrally aligned. So you can quickly go and work on that also. When you come to back to your page layout, okay, come to your margin. When you click on your margin, then you want to click on your custom margin. When you click on custom margin, then you see that here, this thing is actually to one side, but we want it to be at the center. So where you have your center on page, tick the horizontally, tick the vertically, and then click your OK. So when you click on your OK, you want to go back to your Control P and see what is going to happen. So you can see now it's now centrally aligned. So you can actually print it this way and it's going to be fine. So that is if you want to center it very well. At least those things that I talked about, we've been able to work on them, and then we've been able to see their functionality, right? You've been able to see their functionality. So that is what we want to print, just a certain area, okay? We want to print a certain area. What if we want to print the whole worksheet, okay? We want to print everything on the worksheet. You can see that the information on this worksheet is much, right? But what we just did was that we only selected a few areas. Look at it. This thing got to 138. So let's assume we want to print everything on this our sheet, right? We don't just want to print just a portion, just like we selected from 28 to this thing. So this is what you do. The first thing you want to do is go back to your page layout, right? Don't forget that the print area has been selected. The first thing you want to do is that go and clear your print area. So we come back to the print area, we click on it, then we now click on clear print area. So print area has been cleared. So now print area has been cleared. If you now come to your Control P now, you will see that it's not only going to give you, so let's click away, then let's go to our Control P now, let's see. Okay, so it's no longer giving us what, now it's not telling us that it's going to print all the pages. You can see page 1 to 4. That is what we actually have, okay? So let's go back and see what other things we can actually do. So we've seen that if we want to print the entire area, we need to actually go and we need to go and clear the print area that we've selected before. So for those of us that we want to print a portion of our worksheet, we know how to do that. That's the first thing we worked on. But now if you want to print the entire area of the worksheet is what I have told us about. So okay. So that is that. So that is how, that is the way to go. The another thing that we also want to do is, I also told us that at times you might be having some page break because you've gone to Control P, then you're not having some page break, right? So if you go to Control P, you want to print, then when you leave the Control P area, you want to come back to your normal view, you can be having some page break. So in order to either take away the page break or let it show, you can even let the page break even print. For instance, if you click on this, your print preview, okay, you see that on this print preview, we have certain areas that we have page breaks. So those page breaks are telling us that they will print. Okay, look at it. So at times you can decide that, okay, I want the page break to also print. I want the page break to also show. There's a way you can do that, okay? And there's a way you can also make sure that it's not that way. So when I click away from here, I want to see the page break where I'm not seeing it. So let's come back to our page layout in case you are seeing the page break, okay? In case you are seeing it, when you come under the grid lines, you can see that here, view is showing that you will see it when you view it. You can take it away, okay? You can take it away. So, but if you want it to print, you can also select print, okay? Then we'll go back to our Control P like this. So when I go to your Control P, you might be seeing all the page break when you go to your Control P, and all those things we also print out also. But the reason why it's not visible is that this our material, they have lines already. So you may not see all the page break because they have lines already. So that is that. The another thing I want to also do is that I've shown you how to turn off the grid lines. Okay. I've shown you how to turn off the grid lines. Right. So let's go back. Let's go back to this place. Okay, let's go back to this place, and let's come to our page layouts. Right. Then let's go to our breaks. So here we can insert page break. So when you insert page break, you insert page break when there is a place that, let's assume, let's do something. So let me come back to this, my print preview, right? My print preview, let's show us my print preview. Okay, so this is my print preview now. I have, okay, so this is what I have. I have this, it's telling us that it's going to break here. It's going to break from 92, right? It's also going to break from, yeah, so it's also going to break from 46. So let's assume I don't want it to break at 46. Let's assume I want it to break at, let's say, 40, right? I want it to break at 40. All I need to do is that I just come to a line under it. I don't want it to break at 46. I want it to break at, let's say, like 40. So I come underneath it, like I just come and select a cell underneath it. Once I select a cell underneath it, I come back to my page break. I come to my page break. I'll come to my break. Then I'll now put on, I'll now click insert page break. And automatically it has inserted a page break. Please mute your mic. Mute your mic. Mute your mic. Okay, so you want to do that, and then I'll click on insert page break, and let's see what is going to happen. So let's go back to our Control P, and let's see what's going to happen under Control P. Okay, I think we have further scattered this thing. Okay, so yeah. I'm coming. I'm coming. Let me go back to what I want to see. Okay, so let's click away from here. Let's do Control Z. So I do Control Z now. So normally it's not supposed to scatter the way it did the other time. Okay, let me do something. I only selected only one place. So let me select all the areas I want the page break to show. So I want the page break to show just at 40. So I want to select all the places I want the page break to show. I come back to my page layout, select breaks, right? I want to insert, let me first of all remove page break first, remove page break. Okay, then I'll come back to page again. I want to now put insert page break. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I've inserted page break, and let's see. Okay, you can see now. You can see that 40. You can see where our page has broken. Now, before it was showing. Hello, can you unmute your mic and let me be sure that you can see, you understand what I'm doing? Does anybody understand what I'm doing? If you understand, let me see like a thumbs up. Okay, so Molayoto. Okay, do you have something to say? Is there anybody that
it's clear to me.
Okay, it's clear to you. What about others? It's not clear to others. If it's clear to you, let me see your thumbs up if it's clear to you. Okay, just for emphasis, I know that we've gotten something correctly, but let's go back to our page layout. All right, let's go back to page break and let's click on remove page break, because there's a page break we have set before. We set it to 40. So let's see whether so we've clicked on remove page break, and I don't know why it's still selecting 40. Okay, so let's click on Ctrl Z and Ctrl Z again. Okay, so this is what it was before. This is how it was before. So, but I now said that no, I don't want it to be that way. Let's assume there are some vital information that is cutting away. Let's assume this place, this our 40 is a blank space, right? And then this other from 42 downward is a very important document that ought to go with what is at the bottom. Okay. So you can just say, okay, I want to insert a page break. Let me also say that I want to insert a page break somewhere. Let's assume that, okay, so let's assume that I want to insert a page break at row 30, right? Let's assume this document here is stopped there, and I want the second page to start from 31. So what I will do is that I want the second page to start from 31. So I'm going to select all 31, meaning that I want to break the first page at 30. So I want the second page to start at 31. I'm going to select 31. I'll select 31. I select the 31, the old place where the 31 is, where the data is, right? I go back to my page layout and I want to click on breaks. When I click on breaks, I want to click on insert page break, and automatically it's going to, you can see. So I say I want 31 to start and the second sheet, and the second one to stop at 30. You can see that automatically you have been able to insert a page break over there. Then the next thing is that now we have grid lines. So now we have grid lines. Now let's now see if we can take away all these grid lines. Let's now come back to our page layout. Then we want to take away these grid lines, and let's see whether grid lines are being eradicated. It has not been eradicated. Let's remove this one also. Has it been eradicated? No, it has not been eradicated, but something is wrong, but it ought to be eradicated. But anyway, that is how the way to go. Okay, so you'll be able to achieve that. So the next thing we want to do now is this. I've shown us that we can actually turn off the grid lines. So you want to turn off the grid lines, naturally, you go to under where your sheet is, this sheet, come to where the sheet is, right? Once you come to where the sheet is, in case you want this your grid lines to show or not to show, this is where you can select it or unselect it. But it's not working for this our file. You can always go to your page layout, come to your sheet options, and you can decide whether you want, even if you want to print and you want to see the page break in your printing, if you have a plain paper, if the plain paper we are using, like for instance, assuming we have something like that look like a Word document, and you want to see all those page break also being printed, you can come here and click on either to view it, you will see it on the screen. Not to view it, you will click it. Then to print it, you can also select here, or you might also decide that you don't want to print it with your page break. So in order for us not to actually forget what we have said, let's quickly jot this one down also. Then we now go and look at the last thing which we are going to look at under this lecture, which is for today, which is going to be how to put our headers and footers. I also promise us that, and we're going to look at that. So we are done with this one. Let's now assume that if we want to print the entire sheet, so we've looked at how to select how to set the print area. That is when we want to print just a small portion of the file, and we've understood this one already. So if you want to print the entire sheet, right? So that's the next one. So to print the entire sheet, you first of all go and clear the print area that you've set before. So to print the entire sheet, go to the page, the page layout tab, right? Comma. Then click on let me go and check. So you come to this place, then you now click on print area. Okay, click on print area, click on print area, and clear the print area. So you can actually do that to clear the print area. Then the next thing is that so now that is that. So the next one, if the page break is not properly placed, comma, you can set the page break. You can set the page break, okay, by selecting the line you want page 2 to start, page 2 to start from. Okay, then go back to the page layouts, the page layout tab, and click on break. So click on break. So this is it. So you come to the page layout tab and select break. Okay. So when you click on break, then what happens? Let me click away from here. You come over here. Come on. Sorry. Let me click away from here. So you come to page layout and then come and select break. Then when you select break, then you can insert page break. Okay. So then select break. Then the next thing is you now click on insert page break. Break, comma, what's going on? Comma, then click on insert page break and automatically you will split the print area. Okay, so automatically you are going to split the print area. So you will now be able to tell where you want page 1 to stop and where you want page 2 to also stop. Then the next thing is to turn off the grid lines. Okay, if you want to turn off the grid lines, okay, so that's the next one. Okay, so the next one is to turn off the grid lines. To turn off the grid lines. So to turn off the grid lines, right? Go to still under that here. So let's come down. So go to go to the page layout tab, then locate sheet options. Okay, sheet options, comma, under sheet options, you can either select the view grid line box or the print grid line box. Okay, so whatever you do, okay, we tell whether your page break, that line will show or not. So the grid line. So, but it's not working for this Excel. It doesn't mean that it won't work for yours, right? So that's why I have to still put it there so that we can always test it and be able to get what we want to achieve with that. So once you have done that, then we are good to go. So the next thing we are looking at now is the header and footer. To not get the header and footer is the next thing we want to do now. So let me come and copy this one here. And this is going to be very interesting. The header and footer is going to be very, very interesting. So let me go to V here. Then here I want to take away this. Okay. Header and footers. Right. Okay. So are we together? Are we still following? Hope he's not boring. Doubt so. So let's go back to our sheet, right? I think, are we looking at loan tracking? Is it loan tracking we're looking at? No, it's not loan tracking. Let me check for something else. Sample reports. Okay. Is this sample report we're looking? Yeah, so this sample report. So this is what I want to do now. So I want to do the header and footer. Okay. So here also we are also going to do what we call the page numbers. Header and footer, the page numbers, and so on and so forth. So if you want to insert header and footer, right, it means that probably you want your column headings to actually show. Okay. So the easiest way or the quickest way to do that is to just go to your insert. Once you go to your insert, then you come to where you have, I'm not seeing what I'm supposed to see. There's a place where you're supposed to have header and footer somewhere around there. Come in, let me check. On your inserts. Recommended. Let's go to our page layout. Page layout. Usually it's supposed to be under insert, right? So the best way to actually put your whatever. So let's go back and okay, it's still even showing on. Let's go to normal view. Sorry, it's supposed to be in normal view. This is why I was not able to see. So it's supposed to be in normal view. That is when we can able to determine whether this our page break is still showing or not. So to check whether this page break is going to show, let's come to our page layout, right? Then under where's that place? We are supposed to go to okay, sheet options. Under sheet options, you can either show, okay, you can see. Can somebody see this place? What is showing here? The grid lines. Can you see that the grid line is showing? Or you can unselect it and then the grid line is the place is plain. Do you notice that? Let me select the grid line again. So here you can either, so this is it. you can see that the grid line are not showing. But let me press this view again. You see that the grid lines is showing. You can see all these lines, these are the grid lines, all these lines are the grid line. So at times you don't want all these grid lines to show when you want to print, so that you can have a perfect view of what you want to print, right? All this space is going to be plain, then only the things you want to print out may have lines, right? So what you need to do is that you come to where you have the grid lines. You can either select the grid line, or so if you check now, this our sheet now is very plain. There's nothing, the line is showing here. All the grid lines have disappeared. But if you want the grid line to show again, come back to your page layout and come and select the grid lines, and the grid lines are shown again. So this is what I was trying to say the other time. So another thing we also want to look at is, I said, if you want to select the headings or the whatever, you can easily go to, when you are in your normal view like this, okay? When you are in your normal view, you can easily go to insert. When you go to insert, then you're supposed to go and put, this is the easiest way to actually put your headers and footers, but I can't see it here. I can't actually see it here. I don't know why it's not showing. Hold on. Okay, it's not showing here, but another thing I want to do is this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we come back to our print preview. Okay, we come back to this print preview. Okay, so as we're in this print preview, what you want to do is that you see that at the top of each of these stuff that we have here, you will see that we have add headers. If you check here, you see where it's saying add headers, right? If you check here, you can also see add headers. To the left also, you can see add headers. So let me be sure that we are all following. Do you all understand? Do you see here where you have all these box? I think we have 3 box. So there's one at the center, which is the center header. There's one at the far left. There's one at the far right. So this is what we want to do. The first thing we want to do is that we want to first of all add page numbers to this place. So when we come to these page numbers, right? If you select any of these places, you see that at the top, you see headers and footers tools has been selected. So under these headers and footers tools that have been selected, click on design. If you click on design, this drop down comes forward. So from this design, this is what you want to do. You want to go and click on number of page, right? So this number of page or page number. Let's click on page number. Let's see what happens. So you can see page numbers. Then if you want to like say page number, then you want to see like to say page 1 of 2, then you put a space, put a space, right? When you put a space, then you want to type of, okay, sorry, let me do something. Enter. No, not enter, sorry. Let me clean again. Let's redo it. We come to our design, right? When we come to our design, we now select okay, no, not this. I think this should be the one. Okay, let me clean it. So want to come here, want to say design, then click on page number. There you want to click on shift. I don't know why this is not giving space. You now say, then you now say off. You need to give another space again. Okay, space work, but for the first one, space is not work. Okay, space will work. Then you want to say off, right? You now also come here, back to this design again. Then you want to click on hair and number of page. So the first thing we did is this. Let me explain this one to you. You can now click off. When you click up to it, you see 5 of 8. Page 5 of 8. How come? This is page 5 of 8. Where is now page 1? Page 7 of 8. Page 8 of 8. So where is now page 1? I'm coming. Let me go to the top first. Let me check for something. page 5 of 8. How? Okay. So are we together at all? So this is what we did to get your page number. Okay, I want you to unmute your mic. I want to be sure that you're following. To get your page number, this is what you do. Okay, once I told us that the easiest way to get the number of our page is that let's cancel what is here. Let's clean it off, right? Let's cancel out what is here. So you can have this thing in normal view like this. It's a normal view. So it's a normal view like this. So what you want to do is that you want to say, okay, I need to have headers for this thing. I already know that if I want to print this thing, if I go to my printer and I press Ctrl P, if I go to my Ctrl P, right, I'll see that, okay, so this is why it's saying page 1 of 8 and all that, page whatever of 8, page 2, page 3, page 4, page whatever. Okay, so I think this is scattered. It's not supposed to be like this. It's not supposed to be like this. So, right, it's not supposed to be like so. But let's go back and check that our file again. Sorry, let's go back and check our file. So we click on escape. When I click on escape, we want to understand why it is behaving like this. It's not supposed to be like this. So what is wrong? So let's go back to our print preview, or let's set our page break. Let's go back like this and let's set our page break. So to set our page break, let's say we want to select from, let's set our page break first. Let's see what will happen. So right now, I can't even see our numbers at the side. I can't see numbers to the side. Okay, is it because, let me go and check something. Let's go back to our page layout. Let's come back to our section. Let's put these headlines. Okay, so headlines are shown. That means that we can also take off all these headlines, all these numbers here. If you don't want it to show, you can also take it off from here. Okay, you can see that there's no number here. Then if you want number to show, we can also come and put it back. Just like the way we can also take away the grid lines. We click here and the grid lines have disappeared. There's no grid line at the side. There's no grid line at the side. We can also take away the numbers at the side. There's no number at the side, and everything is just as if there's no number at the side. But we can decide to put it back, put back our numbers at the side. We can also decide to put back our grid lines at the side. But what I'm more particular about is I want to set the page break. So the first one is telling us that this thing is going to print to 30, and I feel okay, let's check our print preview. So this is not good. I don't know why it's showing us like this. No wonder it's telling us that why is it doing like this? So I don't like what it's showing us. Let's go back to our normal view. From our normal view, okay, this is what it's showing. Oh, this is selected. Yes, somebody's hand is up, somebody's raising his hand. Let's go and come over here and let's clear all our, let's move all our page break first. That's the first thing. Then the next thing we want to do is that we want to also, clear all our print area. Okay, so that is that. Now let's not try something. I don't know why it's behaving like that. Let's not try something again. Let's go to Ctrl P, and from our Ctrl P now, it's still showing the same. So let's click off again. All right, so let's now select our, where we want it to print to now. Let's say we want to print to, like, let's say 30, we're the one that selected 31 the other time, to show that we want it to come, like the next thing we want the page 2 to be from 31. So let's come back over here and select something like, let's say 40. Let's select 40. We click on 40 like this. And when we click on 40 like this, we want to go to our page break. We now come to our page layout, then come to our break. Then we want to insert page break. It means that when we insert page break, it means page 2, we start from 40. We start from row 40. That is what we want to achieve. So we now go on, we click on insert page break. Then another thing we also want to do is that let's also come over here and let's select. Let me go to the top. I don't know why I'm not seeing the top. Okay, so let's also select here. Let's also insert a page break here so that at the end of the day, let me see, let me get to where that 40, was it 40 we did the other time? I think 40. So let's come to here. Let's also insert a page break here so that we want to use that to actually guide what we want to do. So let's come to break and also want to insert a page break there. Okay, so let's now go back to our print preview. Control P. Let's see what is going to happen now. What is happening? Oh, it's further breaking it down into pieces. Okay, so we've succeeded in scattering this our stuff. So let's do something. Let's leave it. We will close it and come back again. Let's click don't save. Okay, so let's go and open it back. So does anybody have anything to say before we go and open back our file? You can unmute your mic and you can say something, but let's go and open back our file because that file is not actually giving me what I want. Let me go and open. Hey, and I did not save it. Those things I typed, I hope it will not be all those things I typed. Wow. Okay, so let me check this one. But I'm sure majority of us we understand. Let me check it again. Let me check. Okay, so it did not save. What I typed did not save. Okay, no problem. Let's now go back to the sheet we're using. What I typed did not save, but I will still make a note on that maybe after the class and I will share it with us. But let us just go and look at what I want to achieve with that thing I already said. So I think this is sample report. So from our sample report, let's click on Control P. Let's see what will happen from our sample report. Okay, so we have just 6 pages. Okay, so the section we are now is we are in the section of trying to insert our headers. I told us that the most easiest way to insert an header is or footer is to go to the insert tab, and for the insert tab you have to see where you have your headers and footers. But I think this column, our Excel is not showing us that. It's either it is more advanced than what I was using before or something, but normally this insert, this is where you are going to see the quickest way to put your headers and footers. But another thing you want to do is that when you want to put your headers and footers, just come to your print preview. Page layout view is not compatible with freeze. Okay, so let's refer on freeze this stuff. Let's refer on freeze. Okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, so this is where we are. So now we come to, we are now in our print preview, right? So we're now in our print preview and I think it's looking better now. So from here now, I told us that what we want to do here is we want to put page numbers. So we want to select this left-hand side, the one on the left-hand side. You will see at the top that there's something that is saying header and footer tools. Under it, you will see design. Click on the design. When you click on the design, then the first thing you want to do is like, first of all, want to select page number. Is the first thing you want to select. Click on page number. Then you now press your space. Why is space not working? Okay, so space. Okay, so that's also space. You now put off. You put under space, right? Then you now want to come back to this design again. Want to come back to this design again. Now, the first one we selected was page number. The next one I want to select numbers of page. Numbers of pages is the next one I want to select. So the first one we selected was page number. Then we now click off to make this thing disappear. So let me redo it again so that we understand. So this is what I did. Let me click back here. I come to this header, right? Then as I selected this left header, or where automatically the header and footer tools is already selected here. Then you click on design. When you click on design, come to this your page number. You click on page number, then the next thing you want to do is that you want to click off it, then put a space, put off, type off, then put another space again, press another space bar, then come back to your design again and come and select numbers of pages. So we're not select number of pages. So the first one we select is page number. We selected page number. We click off so that this grid line will not, so that this tab will not be activated like this. Then we now press our space bar to let that be a space. We now type off. We press another space bar. Then we now come back to this our design. We selected number of pages. So once you've done that, you click away from there and you are going to see that, okay, so this is 1 of 6. It's telling that this is 1 of 6. When you scroll down, you're going to see 2 of 6. So you can see the way they put number. The next one is going to be 3 of 6. The next one, okay, so I don't know where it's getting all those things from, but when we check our print preview, we discover that there is going to be 6 pages actually. So that is how we're able to get that. So the next thing we also want to do is I also want to do something. Okay, so on the right-hand side of this our header here, on the right-hand side, we want to also select our design. So from our design, there are certain things I want to select. We want to first of all select the file name. Is what we want to select first. Select the file name. When you select the file name, click on enter. You click away and click on enter. Then you now come back to that design again, and then now click on sheet name. Okay, then you now click away from there. So automatically, it first of all selected the file name. You can see that here it says copy of practice.copy of whatever. So this is the file name .xlm training. Then at the bottom, it's not showing us that this is a sample report. So this page now is a sample report. If you like, you can change this thing now. Let's assume we want to change this into, let's say, sheet 1. Let's say we want to change it to sheet 1. Sheet 1. If you click on enter, it's going to show here over here as this is sheet 1. But let's not do that. Let's not do that. Okay, so let's not do that. So yeah, let me take it back to sample reports. Sample reports. Okay, so enter. So now I told us what we want to do is that let's go back to our grid line. Yeah, so you can see what we have done. What we did first was to insert the page number on the left-hand side. To insert the page number is very simple. Click on it. Let's clear it again. Click on the left-hand side. Once you click on the left-hand side, automatically this header and footer, whatever is going to be activated. Then click on design. When you click on design, the first thing you want to do is that you want to click on page number alone. Click on page number. Click away from there so that this thing will disappear. Then click on the space bar. Then type of, click another space bar. Then come back to the design at the top here. And this time around, you want to click on number of pages. You click on number of pages, then you click away from there, and automatically it's going to put the number of pages that you are going to have. So this is 1 of 6, and so on and so forth. Then at the right hand side here also, there are certain things that we also did. We now say that at the right hand side, this is what we want to do. We want to say that at this right hand side, we want to come to our design also, right? From our design, we want to come and check for our file name. Our file name, okay, once you click on your file name, you click away from here, you click enter. Once you click enter, right, it's not supposed to also, okay, let me go back again, sorry. Let me go back again. Okay, so once you click on enter, sorry, you click enter and it goes down. So once it goes down, we want to click on design again, and then this time around, you're going to select sheet name. So it's going to have the file name at the top. So whatever this file is saved as, the file name is going to appear over here. Then whatever sheet you are, it's going to also show the sheet you are. So it's just like to keep tab of each of the sheets you try to print and all that. Then you now click away from there. Now the next thing you want to do is this. After we've done this one, the next thing we want to do is we want to now go back to, so let's click away, and then this is why we are having the name of this sheet, okay, and then we are also having the sheet that we have now. So we are now, the name of this workbook is actually this copy of whatever. So that is what is also showing at the top here. Then at the bottom is showing us the sheet name of this, our whatever. The next thing you want to do is you want to go to the bottom, the end of this stuff, okay? So at the end now, you also have your footer. So what you want to do is that at this right-hand side of the screen, right, you also select here. Once you select the right-hand footer, come to your design, click on your design. So this time around, you want to select a picture. One, like maybe it's a logo of our company that I want to put there. Come over here, come to picture. Okay, so when you click on picture, okay, so I want to select it from file, from our file. Then I want to go to downloads. There's actually a picture I did today. So let me click on this subscribe banner, and I click on insert, and automatically that picture has been inserted there. If I click away, let's say I click away from there, you're going to see. So this picture now, it has shown subscribe, but let's assume this thing is too big. We don't want it to be as big as this, right? So let's come back to our footer again. The stuff is inside our footer. We come back to our design again. Once we come to our design, we now see format picture. We click on format picture. Okay, so for this format picture now, you're going to see height. The height is actually 100. So let's make it like 40. Let's make it 40. Then the width also is 100. Let's also make it 40. So they are all 40. And let's click on enter. Let's see what will be happen. So you can see now. So it's now showing very small at the end. So anywhere you go to, yeah, I'm sure you're going to see that stuff at the end. You can see subscribe. At the end, you're going to see that stuff at the end. So where is the end of this sheet? Okay, so this is the end. You're seeing subscribe here. You want to go to the end again, you're going to see subscribe. Anywhere the end is, you're going to see that subscribe. So once you do one thing for one of the place, it's going to show for every other sheet that you're actually working on. So you can see if you have a company logo, that's how you can insert your company logo. Okay. The last thing you want to do is that you want to also come to this place. Let's assume we want to now put our website address. Okay, we want to put our website address. We now say www.ljohnsonacademy, okay, .com. www.ljohnsonacademy.com. So once we put it for this one, automatically it will show for every other thing. So now we have this like this, we have this like this, we have this like this. So what we want to do is that let's now come to our normal view. Let's see what happens. So our normal view, we might not see all those things, but when we now come to our print, we want to print, right? Let's go to our Control P. So if you go to your Control P now, you are going to see, you can see at the bottom, you can see that logo of our company. You can see. So let's also go and do something, okay? Let's now go and try and get a portrait. Let's assume we don't want landscape, because landscape, we actually cut away our total. So let's go and do something like landscape. Let's come back to this, our file. We click on this. We now come back to our page layout. We want to come to orientation. They want to click on landscape. Let's see what will happen if you click on landscape. Then we want to come back to this, our view. Let's see what's going to happen from this, our view. Okay, from our view now, we are going to have, how many pages are we going to have now from our view? Let me check. Okay. From the page. Okay, so it's now 4 pages now. So page 1 of 4, I think it's now 4 pages now that is going to, we are going to have. Okay, page 1 of 4. Then we have our website address. We have our company logo. Our company logo is supposed to show here. I'm not seeing our company logo here. What's going on? Company logo. So let's try and insert that company logo again. I don't know why it's not showing. So let's try and insert that company logo again. So we come over here and from the right alignment, okay, still there. Okay, actually still there. Just I didn't see. So let's now come to our let's go back to our normal view. Okay, and let's now come to Control P and see what happens. So under our Control P now, so look at the company logo is here. Look at our website. Look at this is page 2 of 4. Then this at the top, we have the file name, and then we have the sheet name as well. So let's go to page 1. So page 1 of 4 at the top, and that is that. We have the website, we have the company logo, and all that. So I think with that, I think we are good. I think it's time for us to ask question. Let's ask question, everybody. Who has a question to ask? Which of the aspect don't you understand? Let's ask question. I think we have been able to learn how to print on Excel. How to print on Excel. So I need to jot out all these notes for us so that we can all go and practicalize it, okay? We can all go and practicalize it and we can achieve whatever we want to achieve. So I think most times practice makes perfection. I think for the headers and the footer, it's actually easy to achieve that, right? So let's ask question. Do you have any question you want to ask? Is there any area you don't understand? Everybody unmute your mic. Everybody unmute your mic. Hello. Can you hear me? Are we together? Nobody's saying anything. Are we together?
Yes, we are together.
Okay, so there's no question, Abi. There's no question.
I think we'll just go and practice more and get. We'll just go and practice more.
Okay, so that's fine. So now, as just a recap of what we did in this class. So let's just quickly go and look at the rundown of what we did in the class. The first thing we did is, so let me click on escape over here. Let's come back. So the first thing we did was we first of all check the how it's going to print. Is it going to print on A4? Is it going to print on A3, or is it going to print like a letter? So we went to our page layout, and then we come to size, and from size we saw that it is actually selected to print as a letter, and that is fine by us. The next thing we did is that we also went to our page quick preview, which we clicked at the bottom here. We click on our print preview, and we're able to see what our print preview was. We're able to see the numbers of pages and all that is going to print. The next thing we also did is that we now click away from there. We came to our normal view. When we came to our normal view, we now said, okay, we don't want to actually work with what Excel is giving us. Let's assume we have this kind of workbook, and automatically this workbook is telling us that it's going to print 4 pages for us, and we don't need all the 4 pages to be printed. Probably you just want a portion of this thing to be printed. So just go and select that portion that you want to be printed. Just select it. Once you select the portion that you want printed, right, then you go back to your page layout and you come to where you have print area. You select the print area. Once you select the print area, then you can go and press your Control P to go and check how it's going to be printed. Then another thing is, some adjustment you can make is that you can decide to take, do I want it to be in landscape? Do I want it to be portrait? Once you click on your page layout, you go to orientation. From your orientation, you're going to be able to juggle between either you want it to be as a portrait or you want it to be as landscape. You can always do that. The other thing you want to do is that even when you press your Control P and then you go and check how it's going to print, you can see whether it is actually centrally aligned, right? So I press my Control P now. You can see that this thing may not be centrally aligned. So what you want to do is you just come back to your page layout. Once you come back to your page layout, go to your margins. You go to your margins, then you now come to the bottom. You will see where they say custom margin at the bottom, not this one, though. The one at the last end. You click on custom margin, and this drop down will show. So you now select horizontally, center on page, horizontally, and also vertically. Then at the end of the day, you click on OK. Then you now go back to your Control P to go and check. You see that it's going to show more. So you can see now it's now well centralized, which is now looking more neater, right? It's now well centralized. That is another thing that we also do. Then another thing I also told us is that apart from you just selecting only the print area, let's assume you want to print all the files. You just don't want to select only some few pages to print. What you need to do is that at the first, we have selected a print area. The first thing you need to do is that you come back to your page layout and go and clear all the print area. You can see where they say clear print area. You are going to click on clear print area. You're going to clear the print area. Then automatically it's going to now say it's going to print all the data on the worksheet for you. Then another thing you want to do is that you want to also check your data, right? The data you are selecting, is there a place where you want your page one to not exceed? So for instance, now if I want my page one not to exceed row 18, right? And then I want my page two to begin from row 19, I can select all the places from row 19 like this. When I select row 19, right? Because I want page two to start from row 19. I come to my page layout. Then for my page layout, I click on break. Then from that place, I now put insert page break, okay? And automatically, you discover that Excel, once Excel gets to row 18, it's going to stop for the first row, and then it will now go and continue from the next page two. We now start from row 19, and that is how we have been doing that. So what other thing did I also show us? I also showed us that we can decide to show the grid lines. If you check here now, you see that all these spaces now, there are boxes over here, right? You want this grid line to show when you're printing. You can decide to let the grid line show. You want these numbers to show at the side here. The numbers can also show. If you even want the numbers to print, like all these numbers that you're seeing here, they can print. Just come to your page layout, right? From your page layout, go to your sheet options. Under your sheet options, you will see where we have headings. Your headings now, for instance, if I click away these headings now, you will not see the numbers again. I'm sure you will not also see your A, B, C, D, your columns. You cannot also see your columns at the top. So the columns have disappeared. The rows also have disappeared. How do we achieve that? We achieve that through this, our sheet option. Under our page layout, our sheet option, we just come to where we have headings. If you click away from view, you will not see the rows. You will not also see the column again. But if you want to see the column and the row, simply click view. The other thing is that if you also want to print your worksheet and you want that your worksheet, you want it to show the numbers and to also show the column at the top, you can also make it happen. Just go back to your page layout, then click on print. Then when you want to print it, automatically it's also going to show the numbers. It's also going to show the columns. So that is that. The another thing I also told us is that your grid lines, these your grid line, all these boxes that you're seeing over here, you can decide to not let it show when you want to print your stuff. Or you can decide that even if you are checking this your worksheet, you don't want to see all these grid lines. You can come back to your page layout, right? Then click on view. You deselect that view and discover that we are having just a plain sheet now because we've taken away all the grid lines from there and we're only having a plain sheet. So that is that. Even if you want to print with the grid lines, you can also do that. Okay, so the next I also told us is that apart from all these things I've shown us, I also told us how we can achieve our headers and our footers. So from our headers, we did something. We selected the page numbers. And how do you do that? I told us that the fastest way that we could have achieved this was to go to our insert tab. But this version of Excel is not showing that headers and footers over here. Or maybe I've not been able to trace it from here. But normally, from your insert, you can easily insert your header and your footers. But since it's not showing, the best way to access it is come back to your print preview. You come to your print preview, okay, automatically your print preview will show you all these things that you need to use. Then what you need to do is that if you want to put numbers, put it at the left-hand side of your screen, the last alignment to the left. You can put your numbers here. Once you click on that place, you can see that these headers and footers is selected. Click on design. Once you click on design, then you go and check for numbers. The first thing you're going to put is your page number. Once you put your page number, you click away from there. Click away from there, right? Then press your space bar. If you press the space bar, press off, then press another space bar to create another space. Then go back to your design again, right? Then go and click on numbers of pages. So automatically that is going to set the numbers of pages that you're going to be using. Then the next thing I also told us to go to the right alignment, right? The headers. Then you also click on design. Then you see file name. You also see, then when you press your file name, you click away from there, press enter so that it will go down to the under. Then you now go and also go back to your design and select sheet name. And you're going to have that. Then the next thing we also did is that we also went to put our logo. For instance, if you have your company logo, you want to put it, just come to the bottom, right? Come to the right-hand side alignment, okay? Click on it. Once you click on it, you click on design. Once you click on design, check for where you have pictures, right? For your pictures, you can now decide to select any picture that you want to use, and then you can also resize it by still going back to your design. If it's too big, go back to your design, check for format pictures and select the width and the height that you want to use. Then the last thing we did is that we also came to the left-hand side of the corner. We also type our company website so that when you want to print this thing, or probably if you have some files that you are using, maybe you are having a tutorial center like we do, okay, and then you want all these things to carry your logo or to carry your identity. That is how they normally do it. Okay, that is what I showed us on Excel. Everything I showed us on Excel can also be achieved on the Word document. So with that, I think we've done justice to this. Okay, I think this has been properly gotten.